I'm in the process of moving abroad, so I need to sell most of my stuff, and that includes quite a few pairs of boxing gloves. In this case, sparring gloves. These are the Vasyl Lomachenko edition of the Rival Guerrero sparring gloves. These were a limited edition. They don't make them anymore. Rival still make Guerreros, but not the Lomachenko branded ones. So these are now a collector's item. So if you would like to purchase these gloves, head on over to the eBay store, which is linked below in the description, and also I'll pin it in the comments at the top. They're still in good condition despite the fact that I have used them. The padding's in great condition, the leather's in good condition. There are a few very small superficial scuffs to these screen printed graphics, but the leather itself is in great nick, the padding's in great nick. You could use them for sparring and training, absolutely no problem at all, or you could keep them as a collector's item because these are very rare now. So the opportunity to own a pair will not come along very often. But this is one such opportunity, so make sure you head over to the eBay store to place your bids. And maybe you could get these signed by Vasyl Lomachenko himself. And of course, over time, they're almost certainly going to increase in value exponentially, particularly if Lomachenko goes on to have an even more impressive career than he's had so far. So click the link in the description or in the pinned comment at the top and check out these gloves on the eBay store. Bang them together again, just make sure yep, see, harder. Because see, the padding is good. Padding's still good. All right. Shelly Finkell kind of contradicts himself a little bit here because he says that there was no offer made for Deontay Wilder to step aside and allow the undisputed fight between AJ and Tyson Fury, and he was shocked by that. But in the interview, he says that he did receive a call from Frank Warren, who asked him whether he would be willing, I guess he on behalf of Deontay Wilder, would be willing to accept a 7-figure sum to step aside. And Shelly Finkell said no. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that is an offer of sorts. It's at least alluding to an offer. It was turned down. So Shelly Finkell was trying to suggest here that they should have come back with another offer if they were really serious about making the undisputed fight. Rather than just calling up, would you accept 7 figures? No, okay, never mind. Now, he goes into more detail with regards to the arbitration and so on. But what he says essentially suggests that they would have been willing to, take a step aside deal if they'd been given the right figure. Now, Tyson Fury at one point said that Deontay Wilder wanted 20 million to step aside and allow the AJ Tyson Fury fight. Shelly Finkell says he's not telling the truth at all. That's a direct quote from Shelly Finkell. He says he's not telling the truth at all. Well, is Shelly Finkell privy to everything that Deontay Wilder says on social media and in interviews? I don't think he is. I don't know whether Deontay Wilder actually mentioned 20 million, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. That sounds like the kind of thing that Deontay Wilder probably would say. Give me 20 million and I'll step aside, right? So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Shelly Finkell saying he is shocked that he never received, him and Wilder didn't receive a so-called proper offer, quote unquote, to step aside and allow the undisputed fight. And does this, in your mind, solidify the belief that Team Fury were never serious about the undisputed fight in the first place? Because if Wilder's manager, his co-manager comes out and says that he was shocked that they didn't try and pursue this avenue of getting Wilder to step aside more seriously, if he is shocked about that, then what does that say? This is a guy who's been in boxing for a very long time. So he knows how things are done. He knows how much money an undisputed fight between AJ and Fury would have generated. He certainly would have known the ballpark figure, right? He's not privy to the negotiations behind the scenes, but he's on the circuit. I'm sure he hears things from associates and what have you. Now, with that being said, the 20 million, who would have paid for it? Would it have been Eddie Hearn? Would it have been directly out of Tyson Fury's purse? And let's say it wasn't 20 million, right? This is what Shelly Finkell suggesting. But if 7 figures wasn't enough, then it's going to be at least 8 figures. Because he flat out said he wouldn't accept a 7-figure. Well, 8 figures is going to be 10 million or more. So perhaps it just is a case of Tyson Fury not wanting to pay Deontay Wilder $10 million plus for stepping aside. If he truly, but this is Tyson Fury's explanation for not pursuing the step aside. He says, and I'm paraphrasing here, what's the point in paying him all that money? I just go in there, beat him up, get paid to do that, and I'll still have the undisputed fight afterwards anyway. So I can actually make, his attitude may be, I can actually make more money by just fighting Wilder again than doing the undisputed fight afterwards. The problem with that, of course, is there's risk involved. I know Tyson Fury is a natural risk taker, but he's a calculated risk taker. He's not a reckless risk taker. Is this the correct calculation? That's the question. Because yes, he's beaten Deontay Wilder and he beat him well, but the man is still a tremendous puncher. This is heavyweight boxing and it only takes one. So he's taking a risk, stepping in there against Wilder for a third time. And with Anthony Joshua, I know he has gone back and forth and contradicted himself on what he thinks is going to happen in this AJ Usyk fight. But realistically, surely behind closed doors, privately, Tyson Fury knows that Usyk is a threat to Anthony Joshua, or at least suspects that he's a threat, and that it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility for Alexander Usyk to pull off the upset. And if that were to happen, then AJ is going to have a rematch of Usyk. As far as I'm aware, there's a rematch clause in that contract. I don't like the fact that there is, because it's a mandatory, but as far as I'm aware, that is the case. And so AJ is going to be tied up with 2 Usyk fights. Where's Tyson Fury going to go then? Where's the undisputed fight going to be then? Again, it's all about the money, right? If we're talking about money, the AJ fight right now is the biggest fight out there for Tyson Fury. And it could be jeopardized if he loses to Wilder or if AJ loses to Alexander Usyk. Remember, Tyson Fury versus Usyk, even though Usyk is a fantastic fighter, if Usyk goes on and beats AJ twice, still a fantastic fighter, but is that fight as big financially as AJ Fury is right now? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think AJ's name is bigger in the States, bigger certainly in the UK and much of Western Europe than, and I want to say worldwide, his name is bigger than Usyk's name. So that's where the money is right now, is in the AJ fight. I can't see a bigger fight for Tyson Fury in the foreseeable future against, let's say, Usyk beats AJ twice. I don't think that's bigger than the AJ fight right now. So I know some people are going to say Tyson Fury don't care about money. Yeah, Fury likes to say that himself. As the youngsters say nowadays, that's all cap. That's all cap. Tyson Fury cares a lot about money. So anyway, I'm not saying that it's the only thing he cares about and he doesn't take other things into consideration. No, but he definitely likes a pound note for sure. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. The words of Shelly Finkell. He did an interview with The Sun. Maybe I'll link it in the description below if you guys want to have a read of it. And, he talks about, as I say, not receiving, according to him, any serious offer for Deontay Wilder to step aside and allow the undisputed fight to happen. So let me know how you feel about it.